Hello everybody, welcome to a video, and today I'm going to be going through the history of my gaming setup, how I got into gaming, and basically the future of my setup if I can get to that. I'm not too sure if I'll be able to because of DU recorder's limitations on combining clips, but whatever. So I'm going to go through starting off with the theoretical first console, which is, or my theoretical first console, the PSP, or the Game Boy Advance SP. And I'm not too sure which one was my first. I was told that my grandpa bought me a PSP back in 05, but I was too young to play it. So I was born in 03. By the way, my birthday's in 2 days, FYI. But that's my theoretical first console. And I was too young to play it, so my mom took it for herself until later on in my life. And it was the first model too. This is a different model. I don't know when I got this PSP here, but yeah. But I do know that my actual first console was the PS2. But first, Christmas 2005 comes around. My family's in California, so my dad gets an Xbox 360 when it was brand new, basically. And you know, it's whatever, but we then moved to Kentucky in 2008, in October of 2008, and that's when the setup you see here basically took place. But first off, though, my brother took my dad's 360 as his own because he was getting out of the gaming spirit, so he took his, and both my brothers basically shared like it had like 20 minutes on the console. So one would be here on the 360. It was the launch model, the one that would have like a hard drive on the side. They would 20 minutes for 360, and whoever's not on 360 would be on PS2. Except it was a fat PS2, mind you. But that changed. So for me, I was stuck on PSP and Game Boy Advance. I think I'm just going to say Game Boy Advance, because SP and Game Boy Advance are the same thing. But Christmas 2009 came around. My brother got his own 360, the one that didn't have one. And now they both have their own 360, so I got to keep PS2 for myself. Now, the game setup originally, if you could picture this, no PS3, no games, no flat screen TV, no PS4 stuff, no nightstand for the PS4 to sit on, no router right there, no router, that was originally downstairs. I never played online at that time. Squeaky floor. Picture this desk moved a little bit more this way, a box of PS2 games, a CRT similar to the one over there, that one there, tube TV, whatever, and a PS2 fat sat basically the same way as this PS3. If you can imagine that, that's basically what the PS2's, the gaming setup was originally for me. While my brothers were downstairs. One of my brothers was on the computer side of the room, which if you watch my older gaming setup videos, you'll hopefully know what I mean. My other brother had the other side of the room. Speaking of computers, my grandpa originally had an old Windows XP computer. He eventually upgraded to this one and got rid of the old computer for whatever reason. I don't know what the reason was. The other one broke, virus, I don't know. But he got this computer eventually, which will be useful later on in the story. 2010, I believe, is when I got my Nintendo DS. Right there, with a sticker on it. Christmas 2011 comes around. Hold on, let me remember something. Boy, am I glad I caught it myself, because I almost forgot the reason why I explained why I got a 360. My brothers let me try out a game called Crackdown, and I basically fell in love with that game. I don't know what is going on with the focus here. But yeah, so Christmas 2011 came around, and I got my own 360. We would soon upgrade the CRT that would be sitting there, and got rid of my PS2 and replaced with a 360 sitting upright like that. So that's the 360 setup. I gotta say, Christmas 2011, I got my 360, and my brothers were a little jealous because it was this 360, a newer model, the S model, as opposed to the one with the original with the hard drive on the side. So I guess they were a little bit jealous of me, you know. So I guess I had the big advantage here. 2013 comes around. Nothing major really happens in 2012. So 2013 comes, and in the summer, like the last day of the summer or something, my brothers decided to literally pack up everything they had and not come here anymore. And so I was like, hey, I'm just going to take my stuff and move it downstairs. That's what I wanted for some reason. I eventually took my 360 and the old CRT downstairs with me. I occupied the computer side of the room. Eventually I got my own HD television like this. It's this exact one, actually. And I just thought it was the greatest thing ever. So, Christmas 2013 comes around. My brothers get their own Xbox One systems for each other, so they didn't have to share. And my initial thought of the Xbox One is, why would anyone want this garbage? A decision that would soon be revolutionary to my life, I guess, if you could say. Whatever, a phrase. Until Christmas 2014 came around, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get my own Xbox One. 360 is going to be outdated at some point, right? Why don't I just get one? And I did. Same model, because Xbox One S and X didn't come out till years later. And I kept my 360. I was smart. Brothers got rid of theirs or sold it, I don't know. Unlike previous me who got rid of PS2. But yeah. Now, nothing really inspired me to get the Xbox One. It was just something that was like something... It just felt like something that I would eventually want because it's newer technology, so whatever. And this was before Xbox One's backwards compatibility became a thing, so me keeping a 360 was like the best thing ever. However, summer 2015 comes around, and at this time my uncle passes away, so... I mention this because he had some of the systems that's in this setup. So... But anyways, a month after he passed, I started looking to the past. It was like Xbox started getting boring for me. I started playing it a lot for 4 years at the point. I started looking at the past when I played Spyro Year of the Dragon on a PS2. It was a back with PS1 game, and Grandpa was like, okay. I was originally trying to play on actual hardware, so instead of PS2, I looked for a PS1. Because I was into the PS1 stuff in the videos at the time. But... we go to GameStop, and I basically knew that they weren't going to be selling such old things, PS1 and PS2s. So we asked the GameStop employee if they have any of the systems. The customers behind us, they're like, I recommend you get a PS3 or a PS4. And my grandpa remembered something. My uncle, or his son, had a PS3, and when he died, he basically just set it underneath his own TV. And yeah, and I forgot to mention that when I moved downstairs, my grandpa got another new TV, so I basically took that one there, occupied the other side of the room. But yeah, and that was that. So I took the PS3 and put it next to my 360 in the old setup, and yeah, now I have a PlayStation. Later on, I realized that I could play PS1 games on PS3, so I downloaded Spyro the Dragon, and I can actually save games this time. Previously, I needed a PS1 memory card for PS2, which I didn't have, so I always restarted a million times, and it was frustrating. So I tell my grandpa, I'm like, hey, I don't need a PS1 anymore, so you can play PS3 and play PS1 games perfectly. He's like, oh, man. And I asked him why he said that, and he's like, nothing. Little did I know, came to this house, and he had a PS1 system in a box. So now I basically had 4 systems that I basically ever wanted. PS3 and 360 were on one side of the room. Xbox One and PS1 were on the computer side of the room with the compact computer. And yeah, and I decided I'm just going to show this to YouTube. And that was when my first gaming setup video was born. FYI, the right side of the screen is the computer side of the room. The left side is where the 360 and the PS3 set. This is basically my first gaming setup video right here. Now, my first setup video was not great. As you can see, there's a mess on the floor. But this was the first gaming setup video, and there was 2 parts because I decided to include the PS1 startup for some reason. So yeah, my videos were at the time were just very terrible. As you can see, it's really dark, and the tablet I had would always freeze ever so often. Ugh. But yeah, that, as you can see, is my OG setup. That was, as you can see, terrible video quality. Terrible setup in general. I mean, I pan at the ground a million times. But that's my OG setup right there. And I even go to the other side of the room to show you the 360 on PS3, which you can't see because it's too dark, obviously. A few months later, I decided to go searching with some of my grandpa's storage, and I found two game consoles. Those consoles were an old PS2 of mine and an old GameCube of my uncle, who again passed away. And I was actually surprised to find this, and I just thought it was like the greatest thing ever, you know. My voice is really messing up right now. You could probably hear a dog barking in the background. That's coming from IRL, not the video. Not a weird glitch or whatever. It's literally a dog in my real world barking. Or in the real world barking, Jesus. I just thought it was the best thing ever. I kept them both myself. Ow. And yeah. Look at that terrible mess, by the way. There's just so many wires. I never understood myself. It was just so stupid to show all that off like that. But I didn't think anything much of it. And yeah, so the video just end. Oh no, this is the terrible tablet quality, right? So after I found the systems, my brothers showed me some of the old PS2 games we had, and they hid them under their beds at my parents' house. So we go there, and I basically take the games that I wanted, like the games that I actually played at the time, which were the Suffering Ties That Bind, the original Suffering game, True Crime Streets of LA, Bully, Spyro Year of the Dragon, the actual disc copy, which by the way, my PS1 hates that game for some reason. It never wants to play. And yeah, it's just just that. And then we take the rest of the games. I was actually surprised to see some Call of Duty games in there, but he had a big red one and Finest Hour, I believe. We didn't have COD 3 or World at War Final Fronts, so it's whatever. But yeah, we basically sold the games I didn't want and stuff. I kept all the memory cards and the controllers and whatnot. And yeah, that was that. A couple months later, one of the worst things that could happen to a game console ever happened. And I was going down the slide right there at my parents' house. It's my parents' house now. I went down that slide and I knocked the PS2 off the shelf because of its wired controller. And it basically breaks. Me and my grandpa's had a little bit of fun. So as you see in the video, possibly. Never mind, not possibly. You see that we had a little bit of fun because it was already destroyed due to falling. So we just smashed it even more. And yeah, as well as the controller. So we just did that. And we go to the mall and buy a new one. A couple months later, I go searching in my parents' house again. And in my closet, in that room you saw, I switched back to my grandpa's gameplays. I didn't like the look of the room. My parents' house looked even worse than it did here. But I go in my closet and I basically find another old PS2 Slim we had. So I had 2 PS2 Slims. I had 3 PS2s. A fat, a slim, and another slim. So after finding those models, it was like I quickly came to the realization that we only threw away the fat. But yeah, and it was just, I just felt amazing. Like I just found two of my previous. Oh, another game I kept was Flat Out. I forgot about that game. Flat Out. Flat Out, awesome game. And there have been so many other games I probably kept, but I sold the rest, got a new PS2 because it fell, found another old PS2. Okay. And yeah, I basically kept that PS2 as a backup, so in case the current one breaks, I have another one. I don't even need to go to the mall. I also find my dead uncle's Star Wars 360, along with, and when I found the PS2, the second PS2, I also saw an old school 360 power brick. I kept that, except I can't really use that because it's for an older 360 model, but it's whatever. I just kept it for collector's sake. My uncle passed away. Again, same one who had the PS3 and the GameCube. He had a Star Wars 360. I kept that as a backup 360 console. And yeah. And that, I think that, let me think real quick. So at this point, I had basically every system I could almost ask for. So yeah, it was amazing to me. Christmas of 2015 rolls around, and I decide, if I have PlayStations 1, 2, and 3, why don't I just start bringing my PSP and my DS, all those old previous handheld systems, to my grandpa's, keep them here, and get a PS4, and you know, we can have a PS4, because PS3 is outdated like 360, so I got a PS4. And I just thought, like, you know, I just feel like I'm just getting a lot of stuff here. I do have a lot of stuff, but it doesn't stop there. Because after getting a PS4, I decided that, you know what? If I have all these PlayStations, literally 5 PlayStation consoles, then why not do something similar with the Xbox side of things? Because I was into Xbox. You know, so after Christmas 2015, me and my grandpa go to the mall, try and find some PS2 games for me to play. There were some PS2 games I really wanted, like World at War Final Fronts, but I looked in their display case when we got there, and inside of it was the only Xbox console I didn't have. Now, initially, I didn't even really plan on getting the original Xbox. I planned on getting PS2 games initially. So, I looked in there and I'm like, it's only $40. Why don't we just ditch getting the PS2 games and get the Xbox instead? I do, and I get Halo Combat Evolved, GTA San Andreas, and Halo 2 to go along with it. Take home, and hey, now I have all 3 Xboxes all of a sudden. And that was in like January 2016, so literally like 2 weeks after I got my PS4, I got the original Xbox. You know? So I don't know what kind of kid I am now. I have all these consoles, and it's like, oh my. So yeah. Oh. Summer of 2016 rolls around, and my brother decides to occupy the previous room, the bed, where the setup originated from. He takes that for himself. So he moves back into my grandpa's house to be closer, either 1, closer to his girlfriend, or 2, closer to his work. I'm not too sure what the real cause was, but he did for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, he occupied the room that was upstairs. So Christmas 2016 comes around, and I'm like, there's one PlayStation console I didn't have yet this time. That was a handheld, the PlayStation Vita. So Christmas 2016, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to complete my PlayStation collection. and I'm going to get the PS Vita. And I did. Turned out to be a dumb decision. I still have the one game on it to this day, and that's Black Ops Declassified, and Minecraft is downloaded. So yeah, it's definitely one of the more useless systems I've ever had. It's very stupid, honestly. I never liked it. I don't like it. It's boring. Don't get Vita. Unrecommended. So 2017 comes around, and I didn't really think of much to really get for following Christmas, you know. So it was until August of that year when my dad my dad teamed up with his own friend, one of his old friends, and he got a Raspberry Pi system and emulated literally every NES, Super NES, and 32X games. And soon he emulated 47 PlayStation 1 games onto a tiny little computer that's like the size of my hand, and tinier than my hand, I should say. It's Raspberry Pi 3 to be exact. And yeah, it's just... I got pretty jealous, so he decides, you know what? Why don't we get me one? He does. Again, team up with his own friend. And Christmas 2017, I got my own. He kept his own, and I got my own. So, yeah. And it was also around this time period, right after that, 2018 comes around, and I decided, you know, with all these consoles, I need to start recording more gameplay. Because previously, I had to use the Xbox One Twitch app, or PS4 Twitch app, or screen recording software for PC or whatever. And it was just inconvenient. I couldn't record 360 gameplay or whatever. So I get a capture card. That capture card was the Elgato HD60 Pro. I get that, and when it arrives at the door, I look at it, and it's like, this looks like something that you'd connect to a motherboard, to a PC's motherboard. I look at the compact computer that my grandpa had, and my brother's like, you're not putting in that. That thing is too underpowered. So I'm like, okay, then I can't use this. He's like, no, we're gonna have to get like a computer that can handle this, or a different capture card. And I'm like, just get a computer that can handle it or whatever. We were looking for laptops and stuff, but then we decided that it'd be better if we actually built a PC. So, in February 2018, my dad, me, and my dad's friend that built the Raspberry Pi systems, we all go to a Micro Center. We get AB350 Pro 4 motherboard, GTX 1050 Ti, 4 gigs of RAM for whatever reason, some kind of power supply, some kind of case, 250 gig SSD, and a 1 terabyte hard drive. And we built like a new keyboard, a new monitor, and a new mouse. I didn't get like my floppy drives where until much later, FYI. I should also mention in this video that I don't really mention the accessories too much, except for PSVR, but convenient, right? I just like pan at it in the video. But yeah. But after that, it's like, we built the computer and put the Elgato in it. Computer worked, and I had a fully functional computer, and now I can record 360 gameplay, Xbox One, PS4, and Raspberry Pi. What about the other systems? Well, we'll get to that in a second, but it was this point where the HDMI cords were a little too short, so as you see in this video here, I literally moved everything, the PS3 and the 360, to the other side of the room, on the computer side of the room, Basically, when I got my computer, my grandpa got rid of the comp. He didn't get rid of it. He moved upstairs. And, as you saw, but, yeah. And for whatever reason, when I moved everything to the one side of the room, a lot of my consoles, especially when I got PSVR for my PS4, they would all start like overheating a lot, especially the PS4 with its VR headset. So I literally like put the PS4 in a new spot, which was on that little desk as you saw previously in the video when I showed my PSVR, but yeah, like it was pretty inconvenient. So summer 2018 comes around. My brother at this point, he basically sets a date on when he's gonna move out. He sets it for September or whatever. I don't know what his original date was, but he originally set it for December 2017, but things happened. I shouldn't mention it, but yeah. But so he finally moves out, and I decide, you know what? The purpose of the Elgato, because the HDMI cords were too short to go from literally the computer to like a million other consoles that are on the opposite side of the room. But for the purpose of the Elgato, for the purpose of not enough space in the setup, for the purpose of my consoles overheating, I decided that on the day my brother moves out, I'm going to move back into the original room that I was in. And then that exact September date, that happened. And yeah, so I moved everything upstairs. And that's basically the setup today, except Christmas 2018 comes around and I realize my computer needs a little more than 4 gigs of RAM, because at this point, because I should mention in the summer of 2018, silly me decides to get a 3.5-inch floppy drive for my computer, optical drive as well, and believe it or not, yeah, I'm getting a 5.25-inch floppy currently. So I'm basically just turning my computer into like a gaming rig now. So I realized that if I want to run more modern day games on my computer, I'm going to need more RAM. And some games actually said that they were going to need more RAM. Like BeamNG Drive said it needs like 8 gigs or something like that. So I decided, since some games need 8 gigs, or 6 gigs I think, I decided not go for 8 gigs. Instead I go for 16 gigs. My dad is like, well, why don't we just max out your motherboard, which happened to be 64. Christmas 2018 comes around and 64 gigs is a little too expensive, gotta say. So my dad decided to chop that 64 in half and give me 32 gigs instead, which is, one, plenty. It was twice of what I originally wanted, so that's nice. And who needs 64? Who even needs 16 gigs anyways, right? 32 gigs is just stupid enough. For those who go to 128 gigs, I don't know what your life is, but but yeah. That's that. I basically just explained the entire setup within like 20 minutes. The entire history of my setup in 20 minutes. That is. So now, I'm going to tell you the future of my gaming setup. Or the theoretical future in some part, some way. And an actual future in some at the same time. It's going to be weird, but one thing that I really can't really confirm if I'm going to do this or not is new desks, because this is a little, there's not enough space here, I'll tell you that much. 7 home consoles, 3 handhelds, and a computer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, PS1, 7. So I was seeing someone else's game setup video, and she had like this desk that had like 6 slots in it. And I was like, if I get 2 of them, so original Xbox can go in 1, Xbox One can go in 1, that'd be 2, 3, 360 can go in the third one, PS3, 4, PS4, 5, and the PS2, PS1, Raspberry Pi are small enough they can all fit into 1 slot, so that'd be number 6. And I'd be thinking about getting 2 of them because I need room for the stuff on top, for all the accessories and stuff. So, if I wanted to succeed in doing this, I would definitely think about thinking about getting a HDMI hub, I want to call it. Because as you can see, I don't have many HDMI ports free at all. In fact, all 3 of them that are used on this TV. RF? Oh, that's weird. Is that RF? I don't think that is. I'm not in Europe. Maybe. I don't know what an orange out is on a TV. I don't know what orange means, but yeah. And then the single game HDMI on here. I think there's a second one, but it labels it as something completely different on the thing, on the TV. Move this bag out of the way. Yeah. I have actually... Wow. Look, I just learned something. Look, thanks to the power of... I'm not sure the power of, but thanks to the power of a phone's gonna actually see the other side of my TV. Whoa. Now I just discovered more ports. Hey, I learned something today. I just discovered there's a component on my TV. Hey! No. But, I'd have to think about getting an HDMI hub. I don't know what they're actually called. There's USB hubs. That's why I'm calling it HDMI hub. So, yeah. That's the only reason why I'm calling it that. So that way I could fit literally, that's like what, 1, 2, 3 Raspberry Pi, 4, 5 HDMI consoles. And there's only 3 here, 1 there. All 3 here work fine. What comes over there, I have to switch to HDMI cables. So the goal is get them all hooked up to 1 port on the TV, and so I don't have to switch any cords. Simple enough. As for the other stuff, so I'd literally limit myself to 1 TV. I'd probably literally get rid of the other one. I'd probably limit myself to this one because it's the one I love. That one's okay, but it's whatever. As for the computer, it'd be... So I literally have a CRT, still stay on top of a VCR. And all these systems would be in like little slots down here. Don't know what I would do with everything that's in these drawers. I'd probably put them all in the way in that closet, if anything, but... Yeah, and there'd be a second... This TV would be here, still. The amount of cords still be there, but... Or if not, they'd be shoved behind it. And this computer and its stuff would be on top of the desk as well. That's kind of why I would need 2. Because this is too large to fit in a slot to begin with. And handhelds, they're staying where they're at. But that's like the theoretical future of my setup right there. As for the computer itself, I did mention that I'm planning on getting a 5¼ floppy drive in here. Yes, for a Windows 10 computer that's even built for gaming on Windows 10, it can run a GTA 5 and stuff. Like, doesn't it sound weird that I want a 5¼ drive in here? Or a floppy drive, that is. I have an external 3.5". Why would I want 5¼ You know? Why am I getting an internal? Well, that kind of sucks to be me because there's no external option. There's no USB option. So what I have to do is get a controller card, because newer motherboard, no USB, no floppy controller, I mean. There is a device side data thing that allows you to put it in, plug in a floppy cable to a little controller card that would then output it to a USB cable, so that's nice. I'd still have to have ugly cables sticking out of the back of my computer. I'd still have to have another power supply to even power the floppy drive, plugging into a normal outlet right there. So that also sucks. Booty. The computer itself, future, I may be upgrading this. Obviously, being a desktop computer and a gaming computer, there'll be times where you need to upgrade this. A single GTX 1050 Ti may one time turn into two of them. I don't know in the future, never know. I already have a SSD there, so upgrading hard drive is already complete, or a 5 terabyte SSD there. But, yeah. That's really just the future of my setup. And by the way, composite HDMI converter right there. I think that's pretty nice. So I can record PS2 and whatnot. Sadly, I have to use that for PS3 because PS3 has HDCP and I can't find a converter box that bypasses HDCP signal. So unless I find such a thing, you have to stick to poor PS3 video quality when it comes to that thing. Unless I really want to invest in an older Elgato, but I'm not doing that. If I already have one, what's the point, right? So, yeah. I never really mentioned the accessories, the Xbox One Connect, 360 Connect, and some of the many others that I may have that I just totally forgot. These are really the only accessories I have that I just realized, or not including controllers and stuff, obviously, and VR. But, yeah, the PlayStation camera, that came through VR. So if I mentioned VR, then you could also take PS Move and camera into consideration. There is a new PSVR-like device coming out, I heard. Where, you could literally, it's with your feet. I heard about that. I may invest in that. I'm not too sure. But, yeah, that's basically kind of theoretical, kind of not future of my setup. So... yeah, so... oh, Jesus. I was tripping my chair there. Yeah, I like this setup the way it is, man. Moving up here was probably the best... moving back up here, I should say, was probably the best thing best decision I could probably ever made. Really, I really only moved up here for the purpose of Elgato and systems overheating and lack of room. So really moving up here was a great option. And I think getting those desks to begin with would probably give me even more room. Also, maybe a bookshelf thing to put my games on. So that would go right there in place of that spot. And yeah, it would just... maybe two of them if we have room. But, yeah. That's that. I'll see you all later. Bye!